Good morning, children. Welcome back. Today we'll start with polity. By 600 BCE, the Aryan king had become politically very powerful. King, he was protector of the society and dharma. He now come to symbolize the state. He needed an army for the protection of society. He decided officer to help him maintain law and order. In order to perform these duties, king was given the right to collect taxes from the people by various means. The person, now also we are paying the taxes in all the material which we are purchasing. Earlier also it was like that. Those who are cultivating, they were giving some part of the crops or all to the king, and those who are manufacturing some pot or something like that, whatever they were doing, out of that they were giving either money or some material to the king. Taxes was necessary to meet the cost of the army and of the officers of the king. Brahmins made the king all powerful and asked the people to regard him as god-like power on earth, because he was the person who was doing all the benefit, good things and everything for the people. So Brahmins were asking the people that the king is like a god, as god is helping people in all the matter, in the same manner king is also doing so. They also perform certain ceremonies to glorify the king's position, to make the king's position powerful. The king led a life of grandeur in the splendid palace, right? His palace was very big. Now also you are knowing, somebody of you have visited some of the palaces. You have seen the palaces, how it is. So he was living that luxurious life. There were many servants, okay, who attended him, who were there to do all kind of work for the king. While his purohits and amatyas were also his minister, other officers were there to help him in his work. He received a share of produce from the cultivator. A part of the state income was spent on building roads, wells, and canals. Means he was maintaining the some money he was giving to the as a salary to the people to maintain the palace, to bring all kind of luxurious things for the people living in the kingdom, like the family members of the king. And the rest of the money he was using for developing the kingdom, for making road or wells, like that. In the republic, the leader's position was very different. He was elected by the people. Brahmin had nothing to do with such kind of election, because people, from them only they were electing the people. Like now we are electing the people by giving them him the vote. Earlier also there were there Brahmins, they don't have to do anything in republican people, right? So they had no influence on the head of the republic. Then comes your taxation system. King ruled with the help of paid officers. Officers were there, those who were being given the money. But to make these payment, he needed taxes. All the producers of goods paid tax to the king. In the beginning, they paid taxes in the form of goods they produced. Peasant paid 1/6 bhag or part of their produce, whatever they were producing. King had some officer as a tax collector. They were going to the different places to collect the tax from time to time. These tax they collector visited villages, and what they were doing, they were measuring the land first, right? They were measuring the land, and according to the how much cultivation can be done in the land, means the fertility of the land they were seeing, and they were noting it out that how much grains are being collected. According to that only they were taking the taxes. Tax collector kept the record of various artisan and collected the tax in the form of money or goods, in cash or kind. Even hunters had to provide forest product to the king. Okay, those who are hunting, those who are moving here and there, whatever they were collecting from the forest, some part they have to give to the king. Okay, now life of the people, village. Most of the people still lived in the village, but with the growth of population, the number of villages increased. Villages were connected with one another by road and waterways. One village is connected with the other one. Each village had a headman, and the Gramini was the headman. He was looking after the matter of the village people. He worked for the king and for the people in his village. He was a link between king and the villagers. Okay, if any king is going to give some kind of instructions to the headman or the Gramini, so he was giving that message to the village people, and whatever problem village people are having, he was telling to the king and try to sort out. Some village and land belonged to the king. He employed laborers to cultivate the land. These laborers were paid wages for their work. Okay, then town. This spirit saw the rise of many towns and cities. The literary sources point of the existence of cities was such as Ujjaini, then Tamralipti in the Ganga Delta, Ayodhya, Kaushambi in Uttar Pradesh, Champa, Vaishali, etc. The excavation of these towns revealed that common people lived in houses made of bricks and wood. They were better than those built in the villages. King's palace was built of wood and stone with an elegant decorator. Okay, the palace was being decorated with so many things. Business, that is trade. In the beginning, there was no such thing as money. There were no coins. People, they were exchanging the goods for goods, right? Like if someone is having rice and someone is cultivating wheat, so they were exchanging wheat with the rice. Or if someone is cultivating the crop and someone, they are preparing the pots and all, so all are requiring everything. People at the home, they require crop also, they require utensils also, they require other material equipments also, something like that. So they were exchanging these all things. So exchange of goods for goods was called barter system, right? A new system of exchange came into vogue with the introduction of monetary system. When money was being introduced, at that time coins were easy to carry. The introduction of coins facilitated and enhanced the scope of trade. It has increased the trade, as coin was easy to take. How much rice and how much material they were being they have to take, they can take from one place to another. So coin was introduced and it was beneficial for the people. Since money is freely exchangeable against any type of goods or services, trade expanded greatly after coins came into use. Goods produced in the Ganga Valley could be sent to Takshila or even across the Vindhya mountain to South India or to West Asia. Society. With the increase of trade, artisans and merchants began to form organized groups. These groups were known as shrenis or guild. So this is the society. Slowly, the people began to grow. Shettis, who were financiers, those who were giving money to the people, and also sometimes head of the trade guild, emerged as an important social group. Since artisans lived and worked together, they grew very close to each other, and they were marrying with each other among themselves. Soon they began to be regarded as a caste or jati. In this way only the caste or jati came into being. Now, the sons followed their father's profession. Caste thus became hereditary. Gradually, the number of castes began to increase slowly according to the work done by the people. Separate laws were made for each caste. People of one caste was not allowed to eat with a person of other caste. So there were differences from that time also. Intercaste marriage was strongly discouraged. The changing scenario further strengthened the fourfold division of the society, right? That the division of society was being made into four: Brahman, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras. Then came your agriculture. It was the main occupation, okay, main source of income for the people. In agriculture, two major changes were introduced which led to increase in production. Firstly, iron, right? Earlier I told in the Aryan period the iron was main thing. Iron plowshare began to be used widely, and secondly, people began transplantation of paddy. Rice, wheat, barley, jowar, cotton were the main crop that were being cultivated in that time. Religion, Brahmin. Brahmanism was the prevalent religion. Brahmins performed all the rituals and ceremonies in Sanskrit, and the Sanskrit language was not being able to understood by the people. Sacrifices were very costly at that time. Common people were not able to bear that one. It was not could not afford the expensive rituals. These paved the way for the rise of Buddhism and Jainism, because people were not able to perform the rituals which was very costly, and they were not able to bear. So in this manner it has given the way for the rise of Buddhism and Jainism, because in this one there is no such kind of rituals which is very costly. Case study you are going to see about the Bihar, Magad and Vajis, right? In order to understand the civilization and culture, it is important to know the sources from where we got the information on these things were being obtained. In Vedic literature, Janpadas have been mentioned. Then Panani mentioned 22 Janpadas, of which 3 were considered important. These were Kushala, Magad and Vats. So some of the things are being there, and I told 16 large Mahajanpadas was being introduced. Number of Janpadas mentioned are there, that is 16, with only slight variation in the names. According to the Nakayas, for example, there were 16 Mahajanpadas. This list seems to have covered India from Bihar in the east to Afghanistan in the west, and from river Godavari to Hindkush mountain. Different texts have mentioned different territorial coverage. But if we study the list of Janpadas stated in this text, the whole of India is covered by these Janpadas. First one, Magad. According to that, among the Magad, Mahajanpadas, Magad, already I told, it was the most important. As we have seen, it emerged the most powerful. Scholars identify Magad as the area covered by modern Patna, Nalanda, Gaya district of Bihar. It came into prominence under the leadership of Bimsara. Vaji or Vriji included the present day region of Muzaffarpur district in Bihar. Vriji's capital was Vaishali. It was famous for its wealthy people, splendid building, great doorways, and beautiful Nakashi was being there, right? So many things were there, very important. Now, this was Republican kingdom, right? And they were not having the king. People were electing them. These were called Atakula, that is 8 clan. Lichavi, the Vidha, and Jatakas and the Vriji were the dominant clan. They settled on the northern side of the Ganga with Magad lying to the south. In the Republican Mahajanpadas, the governor was run by the Gana Sangha. Mahavira, the Jain Tirthankar, it was born in Jataka family. During the time of Buddha, the Lichavis under the able leadership of Chitaka were the most prominent Gana in the Vriji confederacy, right? Vriji was conquered by Magad emperor, that is Ajatashatru. Ajatashatru you have heard already, right? We have learned. Before conquering Vriji, Ajatashatru sent his minister named Varsakara to Buddha to get his advice on this matter. Various powerful kings tried to conquer the Ganasanghas. In spite of that, these republics lasted for a long time. Ganasangha was ultimately conquered by the Gupta ruler. They had conquered it and they ruled for some more time after the Magad. Right. Now, thank you, children. This was the case study for Magad and Vaji. Okay. Thank you.